Welcome to Empty Cans Podcast.
My name is Mark,
I am Tom.
and thank you for joining us. Tom, it has been a while since we last met.
Yep.
I know that you and I personally have done a lot of stuff together. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into it all, but can you give me a quick rundown of the places that you've been since we last met?
Well, I would say the most exciting one was Baker City. We went there for an overnight trip, did some golf, went to Barley Brown's, Mother Earth several times. I think we went to Barbarian once, Idlewild. I think you went a couple times. I went once. So we've been doing a lot of stuff.
Yep, doing a lot of stuff. Been a lot of fun. Trying new places that we haven't been before. But before we get to our guest, because we do have a special guest, and we kind of been putting off this one place that we've been a couple times already. But before we get to that, Tom, bust out a little bit of quick beer news.
All right. Yeah. So just to follow up to one of our last few episodes, we did talk about Modern Times and Maui Brewing, and that deal has done. So that was a $15.3 million deal, and they will combine and call it Craft Ohana. They will exist beneath the parent company and retaining each individual brand. Ohana is the Hawaiian word for family. So
that's special.
Yeah,
That's
very special. Yeah, so the craft beer, Ohana, would be the two beer companies, the coffee brand, hard seltzer, spirits, and soda. So
Very good.
pretty cool.
And typically we wouldn't do this because we do have a special guest, but since we've been following this story for a little while, we thought we'd let everybody know you can breathe a little bit easier now. The deal has been done.
Yep, it is done. Yep.
So today's episode is all about Loose Screw Brewing. Okay?
Yep.
People have, I'm sure people have been familiar with this for several years. There's been a lot going on. But we have Mike Garcia joining us today. Mike, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mike actually brought us some beer from Loose Screw. So we would love to try this with everybody. Mike, what did you bring us today?
Yeah, I brought one of our flagships, our Huey Hog. It's a New England style hazy IPA.
Very good. And I will actually admit I have had this one before. It's a very good beer.
Yep, me too. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, we're happy to have it back on tap. It had been gone for a little while we were ramping up on a couple other flagships. So yeah, it's back on. We're happy.
Very good.
Very good. What is in that, Mike?
Yeah, it's a New England style hazy IPA. You're going to pick up quite a bit of pineapple, guava notes in it. Lower on the IBU side of things you typically expect from a hazy IPA. Usually on a hot summer day, it's going to be one of our top selling IPAs that we have.
Very nice.
I really taste the guava coming out of that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, very good. Loving it.
Yeah, everybody's been kind of on that haze craze. This style of beer was already being produced prior to our purchase, but we're keeping it on. Not changing anything really to the ingredients or the way we're brewing it.
So what are the IBUs on this?
I believe it was at 17.
Okay.
Still have that can there handy.
Nice.
I actually do have this can handy. It is 17 IBUs and 7.4 ABVs.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very good. Very drinkable, too.
Absolutely.
And like you said, especially in the summer, which I guess we're experiencing a heat wave, so that's pretty awesome.
For a couple days.
Yeah, for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Record
temps.
One thing I'd like to tell everybody, this is our very first Tuesday podcast. And I am missing work for this, and I'm drinking beer. So, we need to do these more often.
Right?
I really like it.
Yeah, we'll schedule these on a weekday more
Right.
often for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into a little bit of background on Loose Screw. So I know Half Brewing opened in 2014, and then it was purchased and rebranded as Bella Brewing, and then you kind of took over after Loose Screw kind of built it up a little bit. So I think they opened up down in 2020. Bella did. They took over, for Bella. And then they built that location in Meridian on McMillan. So, yeah, so that's pretty cool. So now you took over. So
Yeah. We made the purchase coming up here in a couple days. It'll be 6 months.
6 months,
Wow.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely been a whirlwind. A couple people have made a comment that I must have a loose screw if if I exited the corporate finance world and got into the brewing industry. So I've been in commercial finance for about 20 years, largely food beverage manufacturing, and then over the last dozen years in financing breweries, largely in California. Kind of craft beer, love started back in Chico with Sierra Nevada at Chico State, with Sierra Nevada there. And then just always had a passion for that industry, and then it was just a natural fit when I got into it as far as the financing side of things. We just saw a real opportunity with this brand, with what the past owners did with it. We just saw a lot of opportunity, especially in that Meridian kind of Eagle market that we're currently in. Past owners did a great job rebranding, building what they did there in the North Meridian market, and they had some changes in their life that created this opportunity for us. And we're looking forward to growing the brand and really being that community brewery and tap room within the Meridian Eagle markets.
That's very good.
Yeah,
and
cool.
and we're going to touch on that a little bit later in this episode. But you mentioned Chico. Are you from Chico?
A little south of that, but definitely spent some time in Chico.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And when exactly did you move here to the Treasure Valley?
Yeah, it's been about a year and a half.
Okay. So you've
Yeah.
been here a little while.
A little while, so, fairly new. I mean, I don't know. It seems like everything in that North Meridian market's pretty new. We had really chosen the Treasure Valley to be our home with 2 young kids and wanting to really provide them the best possible future. So we chose the Treasure Valley probably about 4 years ago. And then finally got all the pieces to that puzzle put in place to be able to make the transfer. I continued on as a head of commercial banking out here in the Treasure Valley up until this opportunity presented itself. We had been casually looking at other opportunities. Nothing really sparked interest up until Loose Screw came up for sale.
Huh, cool.
Very good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, question for you: have you ever done any home brewing?
No, not
No?
really.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had some friends that have done it, and I've been, taken part in it. But me actually, doing that's probably one of the most common questions that I get.
I bet. Yeah.
You bought a brewery, okay? You must have been a home brewer.
Yep.
No, I have not. And even to this day, I mean, I will go there and I'll lug around some 50-pound sacks with our brewer and help him clean, which is, as you guys know, it's 2/3 of the process in brewing.
Yep.
I am pretty active on the brewer side with our head brewer Marcos Moss, but no, I've never been a home brewer.
All right.
So, have you given up your day job? I mean, your finance job. Making all that money. Are you done with that? And now you're slugging the 50-pound sacks and brewing beer. Is that your?
Yeah, no, I absolutely have totally stepped away from that. This is really my sole focus right now. Is got through the ownership transition and everything that's all entailed in that. From all the licensing. That was quite the process. That took a couple months just to get through everything there. But then, now it's just focusing on growing the brand. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're just still scratching the surface on our potential here in this Meridian, and larger, market. So yeah, that's my 100% focus right now. No more financing for me for the time being. And I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
It seems like you're really focused on that community base. Like that's like your bread and butter, and that seems like that's really going well for you guys.
The community has always been really big for me. Prior to being an owner of a brewery, and it's just worked out well. It's a give and take kind of relationship. I'd love to volunteer and be engaged in the community through philanthropic endeavors, and we try to are doing that at the brewery, and we can talk about that as well. But I just love being part of that community. And it's already worked out well. We've got a really strong partnership with the city of Meridian, Mayor Simison and his council there, along with the city of Eagle. So we're participating in every concert series that's gone on in Eagle, which is a monthly concert series that they do. In addition to Eagle Fun Days, and then on the flip side over in Meridian, we're doing their concert series, which we just wrapped up their final one on Saturday, and then we've got the last Eagle concert series coming up this Thursday.
Oh, nice.
So talking about community, you have events. It's almost, I don't know if you call them events, but you have activities almost nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time we talked, the next evening, I think there was going to be some table magic going on, which that's pretty badass. I mean, that's really cool. But you have like sip and paint and all kinds of comedy, music, all this going on. A lot of these are actually in the middle of the week. Do you still get that big turnout even though it's in the middle of the week?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with our audience. Where we're located, we are in a saturation of families. So we try to market our events for families, if not date night for mom and dad. So you mentioned that magic night, or that magic afternoon, really. That was the weekend before back to school. So it's like, hey, let's have a family day at the tap room, and we had a magician come out. He worked his table magic around for a few hours there, and had really good response from it. Comedy night's gone really well as well. We want to continue that. Probably next month we'll pick up another show. The two staples that happen every week, we have trivia on Tuesdays, which they pack out the house, and then on Thursdays we do bingo. None of those, no cost to entry, and we give out a lot of cool prizes during the evening. Kind of back to that community and kind of business partnership. We really like to partner with the local restaurants around us. So this coming Monday, we're going to be hosting free food for anybody that comes in from El Sugo, one of our nearby Italian restaurants, and then showcasing a new beer release on that day as well. And we try to do other fun stuff. We're working on a Halloween party for the Saturday before Halloween. We just try to do all kinds of fun stuff around the tap room just to keep it fun, fresh, and vibrant.
2 words for you: balloon animals. I mean, my daughter's 13 and she still loves balloon animals. So maybe that's the next one.
All right.
Of course, when a balloon pops, holy shit, you're gonna get a lot of
Scares
people.
everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, Mike, what kind of beers do you have on tap right now?
So we try to keep a pretty wide spectrum, everything from your typical IPAs to a lager, and anything in between. We do have 2 darker beers, a stout and a porter on right now. As we kind of come into the cooler months eventually here, we'll probably be bringing on another stout or porter, even on nitro.
Okay.
One thing that we just haven't really tapped into the market of sours. I could see us potentially doing that with maybe something barrel aged soon.
Okay.
We've got a really brewer, and very talented brewer, Marcos, and under the past ownership, they wanted him to brew specific styles of beer and keep to those recipes. Being an artistic brewer, I want to allow him to really spread his wings. Come in and, hey, if there's something new that he wants to try, please, let's get after it. So we're going to do a saison here pretty quick that we haven't done before. Just recently we did a West Coast style IPA made with all locally sourced Idaho hops, which we called Ida Hop. That was a quick fan favorite, and we've already tapped through our entire setup, or that we have off our system, and we'll be doing another probably batch of that here soon. But we like doing those kind of one-off, style beers to keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So is he the original loose screw brewmaster?
Yeah. Fortunately, with this purchase, that was one thing I did not have to worry about was labor and staffing. We had a really solid core team involved for the very start of our purchase, and it's still intact today.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that makes it really easy on the transition, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you see so many other either breweries or especially breweries that have a food component to it. The labor shortage out there is a real serious problem.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so it's something that is always in the back of my mind that it could be a potential issue. But knock on wood, we're pretty solid as it is right now. And our staff, I mean, it's a fun environment.
Yeah.
It's a tap room. You're not dealing with food. You're getting paid good money, and you're pouring beer and having a good time.
Right. Was your staff real open to the purchase and you guys coming on?
They were. The previous owners were pretty passive. They lived 2 hours away. I've been definitely more hands-on with the tap room operation and also the brewery. But I think they've welcomed it in open arms, and I think it's shown in the amount of visitors that are coming in every day.
Yeah, I'm sure they really appreciate you guys being hands-on and everything. Prior to the prior management not really being hands-on, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah.
So right now you're learning all about the brewing process, and you said you're helping out and everything. Do you think there's ever going to be a time where you're like, all right, motherfucker, I got the recipe right here. This is gold right here. And you're going to give it to Marcos, and he's going to look at it and be like, spot on. Let's do it.
Absolutely not.
Oh
No. Okay. All right.
I'm down to help out in the process and drink it. That's
He's not the creator. He's gonna just
Okay.
Help the process.
That's very good.
It's a science. As you
It
guys
is a
know,
science, yeah.
And it takes a number of years to be able to craft and be able to do that, and that's his job, and he kills it at and every day. I'm so impressed with what he does in there. We will get him some more support on the back end, because eventually I'm going to need to refocus my efforts in other areas.
Sure.
And get him some more support, and maybe someone that's wants to a home brewer that wants to learn that craft at another level and take that up.
There we go, Tom.
You
There we go.
got you got two guys right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
We're more than happy to help out. We want to learn.
I
So-
think it would be good because we're simple hillbilly home brewers that Jimmy rigged stuff together to make things work. And believe me, I've had several bad batches, but I've had some good ones. So I think it would be really cool to get with you sometime on a brew day and kind of see how exactly the professionals do it.
Yeah.
Because
I think
I've
it'd be really
never
cool.
seen it.
Yeah.
I've never done it, never been a part of it. So I think it'd be really cool to actually see that taking place. I think that's,
Yeah, for sure.
super, super awesome.
Sounds like an MT Cans collab.
Absolutely. There we go. Hey,
Yeah,
I even have
right.
a recipe.
No.
So I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
All right, let's keep going.
I think I pushed that recipe on everybody.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
every
hasn't-
episode it's
yeah,
come up.
I know. Dang it.
Yeah, why don't you ask Mike if he's heard of the Zithos hops?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Have you heard of the Zithos hops?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
It's very
Is it-
pineapple, fruit forward.
Where's that?
So it's a hybrid out of the Washington area. So yeah, it's not easily accessible. I have 2 bags of it in my fridge right now, and I keep going to homebrew stuff to buy more, and they don't have it. So yeah, I have a hazy recipe I want to do, and it's all Zithos hops. So yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, I keep wanting to do it, but yeah, my wife
Yeah.
doesn't let me. So
Yeah, mine either.
yeah.
So
Anyways.
earlier, Mike, you mentioned back in the finance world that you worked with several breweries. Are some of these breweries ones that we've maybe heard of before?
Yeah, potentially. I'd say probably the largest one that I could share would be Dust Bowl Brewing. Started with them. They were really at that micro stage of about 1,400 barrels production per year, operating out of a little industrial strip center. And then kind of fast forward to where they're at today. They're now at a regional size, producing over 25,000 barrels in probably one of the most beautiful state-of-the-art brew houses that you'll see,
Wow.
especially in California. And yeah, they're doing an awesome job and distribution all up and down the West Coast. In addition to some remote distribution out through Oklahoma and a few distributors that take them out over those states as well.
Wow. It's big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was that was definitely really rewarding to be a part of that. Just from that beginning stage to see them grow leaps and bounds over. I mean, really, it was probably about 8 years in working with them to where they're at today. And they make some just absolutely amazing beers. And the distribution level that they have right now going on is just, it's mind-boggling.
Wow. And that's one thing that I've noticed about Loose Screw is that it's not necessarily about distribution, it's more about community.
Absolutely. So, in really looking at this and probably more so gleaning information off of my history and working with past breweries, we really want to build a taproom concept brewery where we're focusing on what the state allows us. So there's 2 tap rooms, one being attached to our brew house, which we currently do not have. But yeah, really focusing on those taproom sales, growing that, and not going after the distribution, shelf space to tap, space. It's a very low margin, cutthroat environment that you've got to have a very large brew house, which of course requires heavy capital investment to make any money at.
Yeah, we had a sit down chat with Mike from Payette, and he was the exact opposite. When he got into the market, he was full production brewing. I mean, he didn't think about the tap room at all. He was all about production. And, I think now he's got the tap room as well. So he kind of realized that, people do like and appreciate the tap room, somewhere to go, drink the beers, and have a good time.
Yeah, 100%. He's definitely got the capacity there to take on that distribution.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think what you saw, a decade ago, looking over the next probably 5 years, was a lot of these breweries saw that model as the way to go. And then they quickly realized, the grocer shelf space and tap space, it got pretty saturated. A lot of pullback in the market. You saw some failures or buyouts or other things that have transpired in the brewing industry. And I hate to use this word because it was kind of overused in COVID, but you saw a lot of those breweries pivot, at that point and start to go through this taproom model concept, especially in California, because they have a little bit more of a liberal view towards breweries and allow them to have 5 breweries in addition to your 1 attached to your taproom.
Wow.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's a two-way street, too, because it kind of controls the Idaho market here. That allows us right now really to be the only brewery in Meridian. And we like to say that. And we want to continue to grow that market and, potentially even add, another tap room, which will require us moving our brew house to Meridian. So we've got some things in the works on that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jump at the gun.
Breaking news.
I really want to talk about that in a minute. But before we get into that, we got some other questions.
For sure.
The one thing that I was kind of thinking about is why Loose Screw? I mean, you come into Boise, and I don't know if it's like going out to the damn store and picking a new hat. I mean, I can't imagine there's too many to choose from, but apparently there was at the time. I don't know.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Really?
Yeah, that we had looked at, and this one, it checked all the boxes for us. The branding, spoke volumes to us. It's not something that you can just casually pass by. Not that we're going after this market, but not something you casually pass by on like a shelf space. The name, the branding, all jumped out. It wasn't like a stagnant type brand that you may have seen out there. Also the location. So their taproom location, they're in that North Meridian market. It's frankly very close to where we live. And we just saw the growth and potential in that market and the need for a brewery in that market. And then the big value add, was, okay, eventually we're going to move this brew house that doesn't have a retail attachment and open up another tap room, which would allow us to go after that 2 tap room.
Well, a couple follow-up questions to that. Number one, tell everybody where Loose Screw is at in Meridian.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about
Right.
it all this time. It's like you haven't told anybody where you're at.
No, that's funny. We so like I said, we participate in these concerts in downtown Meridian. literally a couple miles away from where our tap room is. And we have constantly people coming up asking us, where are you located? And
Yeah.
so it just tells me, it's like, okay, well, one, we haven't done a good enough job marketing ourselves, or we just, still need to continue to emphasize and grow the brand to make sure everyone knows exactly where we're located. So we are at the corner of McMillan and Linder, at a pretty busy, intersection there. We've got some great restaurants. A couple of them are, going to be coming in here soon. And some empty pads near us, but yeah, we've got a great location where we're at.
Yeah, that place has grown huge in that area. Your tap room, it's really cool because when you go in the tap room, you got all kinds of games, especially for kids. Like you said earlier, you kind of gear towards that, towards family and things like that. On the outside, you kind of have like this huge breezeway where you can sit outside and enjoy this nice fall weather that we're having. I mean, it's a fantastic spot. I mean, it's a great spot.
It really is.
Yeah. We really worked, I think, the best we could with what we had there in that kind of strip. And utilizing that outdoor space allows us to really double our footprint, whereas the previous ownership, really didn't utilize that space adequately. So, we immediately went in and bought, your typical kind of picnic tables that you would see at breweries, and then a really nice fire pit, and then all kinds of couch outdoor seating. That allows, really comfortable, inviting ambiance to be able to hang out, have some beers. We've got music. And like I said, we've got some really good local restaurants that surround us, so it allows you to order from. And then you mentioned something I want to get back to too. I mean, that's something that was really important for us. Having two young kids, like I said, the reason why we moved here, it was really important for this tap room to be family friendly. And it's constantly something that we're always keeping in the back of our mind. Anytime we're doing an event or creating something around that tap room. And so the family definitely comes first for us. And so we really tried to emphasize in having a family friendly environment there with the tap room.
Yeah, not only family friendly, dog friendly too, right?
Yeah, dog friendly. Yeah, it's a space you can bring just about anybody to. It's what I've enjoyed, the breweries that I've visited prior to our ownership has been, a space where we can go and the kids can go ahead and enjoy some time, playing a video game or whatever, minis they may have, and then mom and dad can have an adult conversation where you don't have to get a babysitter, and you guys can all have dinner, together, and have a good beer along with it.
That's pretty cool.
And you got so many places around you can just get whatever you want and have it.
Yeah, there's
right there.
a lot of little fast food. I think there's a little pizza place close by.
Yeah,
got the El Sugo. Yeah,
El Sugo is right next to us. We've got Jersey Mike's just down the way. Across the street, we've got Johnny Bronx Pizza, which actually on every single table there's a little QR code where you can just scan. You can have a pizza delivered to you within about 20 minutes.
There you go. Perfect.
Diagonally, you got some pretty awesome tacos at 10 Ref.
Oh, there you go. I forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't forget about it. I've been sitting on that. Like, ooh, Tin Roof.
Yeah.
I like
really
Tin Roof. I do believe you also have Gandolfo's across the street.
We do. Yeah.
Which Gandolfo's used to have like 3 or 4 restaurants in the valley, and then all of a sudden they just all disappeared. And it's been several years, and then all of a sudden I see Gandolfo's. I'm like, holy shit, I need to go over there, get the Dagwood like I used to.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's a great sandwich.
There you go. Okay, so Mike, how often are you in the brewery?
I am there probably 3 days a week.
3 days a week. Okay.
We're really ramping up production right now. Our brew house was down for about 3 weeks, getting some repair done on our chiller, so that put us kind of behind the 8 ball on some of our flagships. So we're playing catch up. We're spending a lot of time in the brew house, getting through those flagship beers in addition to trying to develop some new ones.
Very cool.
So the brew house is not at McMillan and Linder.
It is not. No, we still brew out of the former Bella Hoff location there next to Cobby's on Chinden in Garden City.
And can the public go down there to grab a beer?
No. We the retail's been shut down there basically since they opened up that North Meridian location.
Gotcha. So I know Fresh Hop season is right now. Are you guys doing anything with Fresh Hop?
Yeah, we sure are. We had an awesome day last week. Last Wednesday, we mashed in on a fresh hop beer through our distributor of Mill 95, and the farm, Gooding's Farm, provided the hops, and El Dorado. It was an awesome day. Much different process than I'm used to, just because of the amount of hops, that we put into our system. The aroma, the initial flavors, it was an awesome time. I'm really looking forward to that being produced in probably about 4 weeks.
Very cool. Yeah, fresh hop season is probably one of our favorites. That fresh hop just really gives you the different profile, that flavor, the aroma, than the regular hops. So pretty cool.
Are you going to be down at Boise Brewing's Fresh Hop Oktober Fest or something, whatever they call it?
We're trying to determine that if we're going to have that ready in time. October 15th. We're going to be cutting it close on that timeline. But yeah, we'll definitely do our best, and if our beer isn't there, we'll be there hanging out drinking some.
There we go. I like that.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
So I hate to go back to when you took over
That's fine.
Loose Screw Brewing, but when you took over, did you ever think, all right, let me change the name. I want to name it my name. I don't want to take over somebody else's name. I got this clever name that I want to name it. Did you ever think about doing that?
No, the brand being developed the way it was, and the marketing appeal, that really popped to us. So yeah, no, it never did.
Wow.
There you go.
That's good. I mean, I always want to, well, actually, it was your wife that actually came up with the name.
Yes, she did.
So.
Yes, she did.
And, I guess once you get that name, it's like, no, it's perfect. It's a perfect name. You can't change it.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of our beers are named kind of after that theme of Loose Screw as well. So we've tried to adopt that as much as we can. There are certain beers that we've come out with recently, like that Idaho sourced IPA called Idaho Hop. Obviously we went against the grain on that. But yeah, quite a few of them. The Huey Hog that we just drank. We've got the Mash Maniac here and a few others. They're all kind of after that Loose Screw type theme.
So Mike, when you came over, you brought some beers for us to try. These are 16-ounce cans. Can you get these in the grocery stores? Do you have a crowler in the tap room? How do you get these cans out?
Yeah, sure. We've got a crowler machine that through Oktoberfest that we can up beers there at the tap room at any ones that you want, with the exception, of course, anything on nitro. And then we do sell glass growlers in addition to a really nice kind of matte black growler that we have there, embossed with our logo on it.
So it's a couple good things to know, that you do crowlers, and you can bring in your own growler and get it filled up there.
Yeah, absolutely. We also do limited bottle release for our VIP members, which actually we just mashed in on that today. It'll be a English nut brown, and then we'll actually bottle that up in a 22-ounce bottle.
So is any of this in stores?
No.
It's all at the tap room. If you want to get some Loose Screw beer, you got to go to the tap room.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When we will probably start to self-distribute a little bit here, probably in the coming months, once we get into winter. And also, I know we'll talk about it, but whenever we kind of finalize where we're going to move that brew house and open up another tap room, we'll probably start to tackle that market, and just that way we can get our name a little more developed in that specific market. We do have a beer here that I did bring. It's the Oscuro Coffee Golden Stout. You can get this as well. We did this as a collaboration with Caffeina, really well-known coffee roaster. And actually, I've got 2 locations and opening up, I believe 2 more. But they're kind of flagship location over on State Street. We mashed in with their entire crew and brewed just an amazing, I feel is an amazing golden stout that fits that profile perfectly, and then also has that flavorful coffee taste and aroma to it. When initially talking with them, we were at the beginning of summer, and as it was 100 degrees for
right.
Like forever.
Yep.
And that stout, dark style beer just didn't feel like the right fit, to do with them at that point in time. But we presented the idea of doing a golden stout. And so that's exactly what we did. It still has that same mouthfeel. I bet you if you were to do a blind taste test and taste this beer, you would actually think it was a dark beer, but it still has that same mouthfeel, but yet the refreshing kind of lightness to a golden stout that you would get in addition to those coffee notes.
So, Mike, would you mind if we had some of that?
Sounds like a good opportunity.
So one thing I would like everybody to know is that the last time I was over there at Loose Screw, I tried this beer, and typically, really, I shy away from the stouts.
Thank you.
I mean, I did have a golden ale one time at Barbarian, the peanut butter one.
Peanut butter one.
So typically, I kind of stay away from the stouts. But this one to me was dynamite. I mean, it had just the right amount of coffee. It wasn't overpowering like some stouts you get. And like you said, if you did a blind taste test, I mean, it was kind of weird to actually drink it, but also see the yellow in the glass.
Right?
I'm just, it's
Kind of
weird.
throws you off a little bit.
Yeah, totally off. But this definitely is one of my favorite coffee golden ales. I mean, wow.
Yeah, we get a lot of people come in and they just want to try it, and then all of a sudden we know. I mean, next thing we know, they're having a pint or two of it.
Yeah.
It's a style that typically you wouldn't have on an everyday basis or in like a session, but we find a lot of people. It's a pretty popular beer.
It is.
And I think we really nailed it with the bean that we selected.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, the owner over there at Caffeina, is just an absolute genius at her craft and what she does. And when she brought out this bean, it was just absolutely perfect and met the profile of that golden stout. Perfect.
So is this something you guys are going to keep going, keep on tap?
Yeah, we haven't discussed that. They've got and anything collaboration wise that we do, we want to work with reputable, like-minded companies out there in the market,
Sure.
and they fit that mold perfectly. So I could definitely see us doing something more.
Very
in the
good.
future. Yeah.
Maybe do like a variation type thing every year, maybe? Something like that?
I like that.
So my wife, she loves her coffee, and she has one place she goes to every time. And this happens to be Caffeina, but this one is on Milwaukee. She goes there all the time. Great people, nice and friendly. And honestly, when I go there, I usually get just a plain drip black coffee. I'm not fancy. just give it to me.
You're not
black.
getting that
That's
pumpkin
all right.
spice latte
No,
there, Mark?
no
All right.
pumpkin spice for me.
Okay.
But it is a really good, like you said, coffee bean. It just has the right flavors to it. I really don't even know how to explain it. But for our listeners, they kind of know me as more of a hazy IPA kind of guy. But I got to tell you, all you out there, you got to try this.
Yeah, don't sleep
Obscura.
on it
I
for
mean,
sure.
it is something. I mean, it's completely different than what I'm used to, but yet it is really good. I can drink this any given time.
Yeah,
It's really good.
We've had awesome feedback on it. So yeah, you can pick it up at our tap room right now, or even at any of the Caffeina locations.
Really?
Yeah.
So I can go get a coffee and a beer, because right down on State Street, their main building is not too far from my work, so I can just go get
There you go.
a beer, coffee, and be like, go back to work and be like,
I
everything's
just had
good,
coffee.
ship shape.
It's not a big deal.
Right.
Well, Mike, I do want to congratulate you. Recently, you were voted best place for a microbrew by the Meridian, and then also best new business of the year by the Meridian Chamber. So congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's not the reason why we do it, but it's always nice to be recognized.
Absolutely.
By the community. Also, obviously, it helps get our name further out there. But yeah, no, the Meridian Chamber's been awesome to work with. We joined them immediately after the purchase, and they've done a really good job at promoting them. That's their primary focus, is promoting small business in the community, and they do an excellent job at it. And we're happy to be a member of the Meridian Chamber.
So I got a string of questions here for you.
Let's go.
They all go kind of hand in hand. What is your vision for Loose Screw? Where do you want to be? When you're sitting at home in the evening thinking, hell yeah, I did it. I did it, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
What did you do? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think 2 tap rooms that are destination locations where people will travel to from afar. You know, there are a few breweries here in town that have that going for them, that have just an awesome environment inside. You mentioned Mike Francis with Payette. Yeah, I would definitely label him as one of those, and having just an awesome taproom space there along the green belt. Good quality beers, just a fun time anytime you go. So yeah, I'd have to nail it down to those 2 tap rooms, and yeah, we just want to kill it at that.
That's a good answer, because Tom and I have traveled to get beer.
Oh yeah.
So I totally get that. As soon as you get those people coming in,
You know you're doing something right.
oh, exactly. And honestly, for me, I mean, I live in Boise, so for me to travel out to Meridian, it's kind of a big deal. I'm kind of a homebody, you know, but so
Mark.
I know it's
We've had
kind
some
of
people say
kind of
that
pathetic.
driving from Boise is like driving to Oregon.
I know,
Right,
It is.
right.
It's ridiculous. I got to pack a lunch and dinner. I mean, it's just terrible, but it's really not that terrible.
But if we can provide a memorable experience, good quality beer, good service, and just knock it out of the park at that, I have a feeling they'll drive.
So I've been there probably 3 times now. One time before you became the owner, and I'll tell you, each time, fantastic service. You got a great crew on there. I will commend them for consistently good service. I mean, it makes me want to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been
And-
really good.
But then also the beer too. I mean, yeah, can't forget about the beer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really simple. It's 3 key pillars. You know, you name 2 of them, and then the third is just having a fun, inviting environment.
Right, and you got all 3.
We try. We definitely try. There's always room for improvement, and we strive to do that every day.
Yeah. So the follow up to that is you do have your tap room in Meridian, but you also do have the brew house in Boise, in Garden City, right there on Chinden,
Mhm.
that the public is not allowed to have beer at. But yeah, you want to move that to where that could possibly change.
Absolutely. So with the purchase, and just the evaluation analysis stage of this purchase, that was always the plan for this brand, was to move that brew house and open up another attached tap room. Having that being production only, we're missing out on 50% of our potential revenue, if not more, if we move it to the right space and into the right area. So, that's really key for us, is finding that right location, and then that property having the right amenities that we're looking for. Most important thing is that brew house, and having everything that brew house is going to need. As far as water access, heights, ceilings, etc. If we're talking about an existing building, out there. So, 2 of the markets that really speak to us right now is downtown Meridian. That's always been the top location on our list. However, Eagle and the downtown Eagle area is not out of question either. We do have some things in the works on a property in downtown Meridian. Actually 2, one being an existing building and one is a new development. So we're just going to kind of run all of these at tandem, still keep our eyes open for other opportunities, because like I said, we've got one chance at this, and we can't open up other tap rooms, so we've got to make sure that this location is the perfect location. Ideally, we want to have 3,000 square feet of interior space for tap room space, in addition to almost double that outside. It'd be awesome to have event space, and we get hit up often for corporate parties, or actually right now it's almost on a daily basis I get a request for a Christmas party, because we're coming up to that time. And
Oh, wow, yeah.
companies are starting to reserve spaces, and frankly, it's I will not and do not want to close down our tap room on a Friday night and alienate our normals,
Sure.
normal
Yeah.
customers coming in. to accommodate a party. And I wish I could accommodate everybody,
Right.
but so closing down the tap room for an event, right now at our existing tap room, we'll consider that maybe on a Monday or Wednesday. Otherwise, we've got those flagship events like I talked about, trivia and bingo, that we want to continue to offer, and then the weekend. Those are solid days for us where we want to accommodate everybody and not just isolate it to one event or one party. But yeah, with a new tap room space, we would love to have an event section to it that we can just fully enclose and close off and be able to have an intimate party for a company, but still accommodate our normal tap room.
So 2 things. Number 1, patio.
Huge.
It's ginormous. Got to have a nice patio. One of the things that I enjoy, which I haven't done in a really long time, but Bardenay down in Eagle, fantastic patio. Unbelievable. I love going down there, hanging out on their patio. It's just a great space. Number 2, balloon animals. Going back to that. Every kid loves it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, no, both of these spaces that we're looking at in downtown Meridian and downtown Eagle, it's got to have pedestrian access, which that Bardenay and Eagle has awesome access. They're off the green belt. Then anytime you can create a venue that overlooks water,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's gonna knock it out of the park. However, downtown Meridian doesn't have a lot of water features. Out
Sure.
there. But no, these 2 spaces that we're looking at, we feel strongly in the trajectory that downtown Meridian's going.
Mhm.
With all the multifamily, the infrastructure is coming there, and you can already see the dynamics changing there in downtown. And I feel that South Meridian will travel to downtown, North Meridian will travel to downtown, and potentially even Boise
Oh, yeah.
as well.
Absolutely.
Not to mention too, like you'd have a leg up. Like that's like the only brewery would be in Meridian.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, no. And like I said, we've got a really good relationship with the city, and we have a real love and passion for that city, and we want to continue to deliver.
Very cool. I like that a lot.
Mike, you told us that you are thinking about moving to Meridian or Eagle. Right now, you have your brew house down in Garden City on Chinden. How big of a brew house is that?
Yeah, sure. So we're currently brewing on a 7-barrel system. I'm going into 6 fermentation tanks, and then 1 bright tank. So we do have some bottlenecks in certain areas with that system. We do see some opportunity right now if we were to add in another bright tank to be able to alleviate that, and we can quickly get those fermentation tanks emptied and then fill them right back up. However, just with obviously us moving, I'm a little reluctant to invest into that current brew house. So in looking at availability going into a new brew house, we would be converting to a 10-barrel system. Not sure on the manufacturer yet. We're actively looking through a number of different ones. Just coming off a CBC a few months back, I've already struck up a few conversations with manufacturers out there. So we'll see. We'll see what really meets our expectations, and then of course is with the price of everything.
No, yeah, the price of everything is
Sure.
is everything.
Right. But then I guess on another question that kind of sparked my interest there when you were talking about that, is there what kind of time frame are they giving you for like new equipment and that kind of stuff?
I would say during COVID, the times have definitely improved quite a bit. So lead times, right now I'm seeing anywhere from 6 to 12 months, which would fit, us well, considering, the properties that we're looking at are, one, the new development's not even near completion.
Sure.
And then the existing building, it needs a year's worth of remodel and work there. So I think those timelines will work well for us. We do want to continue to operate as long as we can in that facility up until we can flip that switch in the new brew house, so that way we don't have as much any downtime in the transition process.
Sure.
Or at least as long as the licensing will allow us to do that.
Okay.
So you said you wanted to add a new tank to the brew house. Is there room Because the last time I was down there, it's a pretty tight space.
Yeah, we definitely could add in another bright tank, another 7-barrel bright tank.
Okay.
But again, I just I am a little reluctant to pay that price. A brew house that we're eventually going to be leaving and selling.
So you're going to be selling it
Eventually.
eventually. Yes,
Eventually.
eventually. Sure. So all those people that really have faith in Tom and I, and you have some extra cash, throw it our way, and we will buy this brew house from our great friend Mike, and we'll start brewing some beer too.
Sounds like a
How about
Kickstarter
that?
campaign started.
It does.
Right.
That's how Boise Brewing started, right?
That's true. It sure did.
It is true.
Hey, it could happen. You never know.
When I brought this up originally, my wife laughed in my face. So my hopes are pretty low. I've also actually talked to several other people saying, "Hey, let's all go in together." Again, several laughs in my face. So I don't have high hopes.
I'll make you a good deal.
One can dream. One can dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, before we end this podcast, I would actually like to share a beer with Mike.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did that with Pay Up Mike
We did. Yeah.
on the last one. So I thought, well, shit, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe we share beers that kind of you and I like with other people,
Yeah.
because we got a taste of the loose screw. So let's pull something out.
What do you got?
I actually really don't know.
Oh,
It's going to be just a big grab bag.
okay.
Actually, no, I do know. I remember now. We actually made a little quick stop at the Growler guys before we stopped by. One of the places we usually like to go before podcast to kind of sit down and go over what we're going to talk about and all that kind of stuff while having a beer, obviously. But I went and picked up some WFO from Barley Brown. They've had it on tap, and I thought, you know what? Let's do this one. This is
Okay.
as good as any. So
There you go.
So I'm gonna pour everybody a little bit of WFO. Okay, so this is called WFO from Barley Brown. It's called, the actual name is Wide Fucking Open. And we were there recently, had some there, and I brought some from the Growler guys, and
Yeah.
thought we'd try it out a little bit, see what you think. What do you think about that one, Mike?
It's tasty. Like a West Coast style. But,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's clean. Really good. And you said it was wide fucking open?
Yep.
Yep. That's what it's called.
That's what
yeah.
it's called. When we were there, I bought this T-shirt, and I think it's a motocross thing. And I'm not really into motocross, but I bought a T-shirt. It's got a motorbike on it. Some guy like tearing it up and stuff. And
I think it was one of their original ones before they came out with
a
like
long time ago.
Pallet Jack and all that other stuff, right? So it's kind of one of their flagship like starter beers.
Pallet Jack is their
Oh, yeah.
kind of mainstay now.
Yeah.
It's like the IPA for sure.
Yeah.
But very good.
Yeah, tasty.
It is very good beer. We're kind of wrapping up now, but one thing that I would like to add is that the last time I was in there, I noticed that you do have kind of guest taps. When I was in there, actually, you had a collab with Fremont and
Bale Breaker.
Bale Breaker called Friends. Sometimes you have some Georgetown in there. Do you have anything for those non-beer drinker people?
Yeah.
Because they actually exist. Believe it or not.
Right.
I think it's totally ridiculous, but they do exist.
Yeah, no, we definitely attempt to appeal to the masses, on the alcohol side, of course, and we always have a wide selection of non-alcoholic options too. But the ciders seem to sell really, really good in our market. We've always got a Merriweather on, typically kind of your semi-dry or semi-sweet option, and then we usually have a more sweet, fruit-forward option, whether that be from Merriweather as well or Two Towns, which provides some pretty good cider options. Additionally, we've always got 2 reds, usually a Pinot and a Cab on draft, and then in addition to a Chardonnay, and we've got some seltzer options too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got everything.
Yeah, and those, guest taps, we're big supporters of the craft beer industry. I mean, myself, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm on the board for the Idaho Brewers United, which that's what we exist for, is supporting the local craft breweries here in Idaho. And so we're really passionate about that and growing the industry here. We try to support as many local breweries as we can. So yeah, we've typically got 1 or 2 on draft. We're actually a little heavy right now just because, as I mentioned, our chiller was, we took that down for a little while. So we relied on some of our local competitors to supply us some beer. We typically always have 1 from Payette on draft, big fans of theirs. And one of my good buddies, Graham Dillette, and his beer that Payette brews, the Bard. It's a golden ale.
Golden ale. Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, in any style of type of alcohol, that you'd be looking for, as far as wine, seltzers, or beer, we definitely have.
What do you have for the kids?
Kids, oh man, my kids, when they come in there, they know immediately where to go. Yeah, we've got Capri Suns, Sunny D.
Oh wow! Sunny D.
Yeah, and then Coke products that go along with it, and we always have local snacks too. So Idaho Roots, Idaho potato chips, in addition to local beef jerky manufacturer here, and City Peanuts as well provides us.
Oh, nice.
Some good munchies.
That's
there
good.
while you're sipping on your beer.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
One thing I also do want to hit on before we completely wrap this up, but we did briefly talk about hops and where you get your hops. You said you go to Gooding Farms and Mill 95. Are those the 2 producers that you go to all the time? Do you mix it up? Do you go to Yakima?
Yeah, so Mill 95 is the distributor for Gooding and other local farmers around here. We try to utilize them as much as possible, just being a local partner down the road. However, there are just certain style of hops or hop oils that you can't get here locally. So yeah, we go through a Yakima distributor for those.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. We do hope to speak with some of the hop.
Mill 95. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to give it away, but okay, Tom.
Yeah.
Shit. Unbelievable.
Just a teaser for
Well,
future episodes. I mean,
That's
come on,
not a
man.
teaser. You just gave it all away.
Yeah.
All right.
They're such an awesome crew out there, and if you have the opportunity, I mean, right now would be the perfect time to go and get a tour. I mean, if they could get you in. But I mean, it's just, you've seen pictures, I'm sure, through Instagram
Yeah.
or social media. I mean, it's a sight to be seen.
Well, it's insane right now, the amount of happenings out there. I mean, it's just, they are nonstop working.
Right.
It is ridiculous. And I thought, hey, we want to have some hop farmers, but now is probably not a good time. But we were actually hanging out down at Payette Brewing, and we ran across Side House Brewing, a guy on Instagram that kind of listens to us dumbasses talk about beer. But we went down there, we met him up, and we were talking, and before he actually got there, I saw a couple guys come in. I'm like, hey, that's Side House right there. And they had like Mill 95 Hop Harvest 2022.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's got to be them, because they came down to get some hops, some fresh hops. So I go talk to them. Psh, it wasn't them. I'm like, well, son of a bitch. Apparently, they actually do work for Mill 95. So then I started talking to them, and then that kind of one thing led to another, and now hopefully we're going to be talking to Mill 95 next month.
Yep. That's the plan.
Yeah, like I said, if you have the opportunity to take a tour there, not only just the harvest and the hop, production side, but that pelletizing process is pretty amazing.
Right, and apparently they are one of the only ones in Idaho that do their own pelletizing.
The only. And second, Idaho is the second largest producer of hops, if you weren't aware, behind, of course, Washington and the Yakima Valley. And yeah, they've got the only pelletizing operation there. And, most 95%, 98% of the beer out there produced is all, with pelletized hops.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I use them.
Don't we know?
Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
At one point in time, I grew my own hops, and I tried a recipe or two with my own hops, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the smell of hops. It's, yeah, we definitely need to go out, take a tour. I thought they would be just way too busy to even entertain the idea, but they were more than accommodating. And unfortunately, we got the Great American Beer Fest. Are you going to that?
We were a little up in the air. I think we're going to go ahead and pass this year. We'll be back at CBC next May in Nashville, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Destination Beer, which will obviously always be in McCall, I believe in February. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's always a good local event here.
Okay.
Funny story about hops, real quick. So the pelletized hops. So I remember one time I was doing a beer, and I went on my lunch hour to go get some hops from Brewers Haven, and I brought them back, and some coworkers were really interested in it. So I was like, "Oh, you guys want to try some hops?" So I bust open this package of hops, right?
Oh my word!
And they're all taking like little bites of it, and they are freaking out. They're like, "What is this?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "That's really good. It's good Citra hops. Like, what's going on?" Yeah. So they weren't true beer enthusiasts. So.
Well, have you ever had the beer tea?
No. No.
One time I actually made some beer tea because I thought it would give my homebrew a little extra punch.
Didn't do it?
Interesting. I did have the beer tea. It's interesting.
Okay.
Probably an acquired taste.
Yeah.
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 I think having someone eat a pellet is kind of a hazing ritual for most brewers.
Yeah.
I am guilty of doing it.
yeah.
And I literally did not eat the rest of the day. I mean, it will mess up your palate.
Oh yeah.
Well, I didn't have them eat the whole pellet. They took a little bite, like a little teaser, right? So, but yeah, no, I get it. It was pretty intense.
Well, when I first started brewing, they say, "Hey, you got to taste everything."
Oh yeah.
Oh, so I took at least a half a pellet. So, ooh.
Well, especially you start them out.
Okay.
You taste a little wort. That tastes amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then you go ahead and bite into a pellet. That'll change your life.
Change. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, Mike. So usually when we close out these episodes, do you have anything else you would like to talk to the audience about? Tell them anything new coming up, anything exciting with Loose Screw?
We have so much going on. And I would just encourage any listeners out there to go check out our social media on Instagram and Facebook. We continually post on there what our current events are going on. So that's really the best outlet to be able to share that news. What's going on.
And I would definitely second that. I follow you on Instagram, and it's constantly nonstop. You guys are really having a 24/7 party over there.
Right?
Are you open 7 days a week?
We are open 7 days a week, a little different hours throughout the week. So Monday to Thursday, Monday to Wednesday, we are open from 2 to 9 o'clock. Thursday to Saturday from noon to 10 o'clock. And then on Sunday from noon to 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Very good. All righty. Well, so usually when we close out this episode, we do have a celebrity beer quote. And because you are our guest, I would really appreciate it if you would give us our celebrity beer quote today.
Okay. All right, let's see. I've only been in love with a beer bottle and a mirror.
Who said that?
Sid Vicious.
That
makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
All righty. Okay, Tom, take us home. What do we got? Actually, I will actually
You're gonna
jump
say it.
in real quick.
Yeah.
So, everybody that's listening, Tom and I talk about great beers all the time. And, we tell everybody, but actually, we want to hear from you. If you have a great beer that you think is kind of worth our time, not saying that you guys drink crap beer, but I'm not saying that.
Nice backtrack there.
But no, I
Backpedal.
would, we're always on the hunt for great beer. So if you come across a great beer that's like, some bitch, Mark and Tom, Empty Cans, needs to try this beer. I got to have them try this beer. And they got to talk about it on the next podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll do that.
Hit us
Give
up.
us a ring.
Yep.
We might like it. We might think it's shit. I don't know. It's a crapshoot. We're kind of crazy like that. But go ahead and hit us up on Instagram. And we are actually on Facebook too. So if you come across great beer, let us know.
Absolutely. Yep. And then, anyways, always, you guys can hit us up on Facebook and our Instagram. Any requests that you guys want to do for a podcast in the future, you can hit us up on email at emptycans2022@gmail.com. And then, obviously, Instagram and Facebook at emptycan_cans. Coming soon. There is the website. I do have some technical difficulties with it.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, I do. So I have my IT guy working on it.
Okay.
So we're getting there. I'm hoping by the next podcast we got that going. So,
Alrighty. Sounds great. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for listening.
thanks, guys.